right. We were at CrossFit Coffee. Actually, we were at the sweatshop.
Yes.
Right? So we are at the sweatshop again with Heidi Howar and Chad Burdett. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Real good. What has been going on? We just saw, was it last weekend? You had the women's pro-am down here?
Yes.
So tell me, the reason why we're down here is because obviously Heidi did all sorts of cool shit this weekend. So give me the numbers and what'd you do?
I hit a world record squat, 600. My PR was 580. So I put 20 pounds on that. 365 bench. I only got my opener. And then a 535 deadlift.
Nice.
And then a 1500 total at 132.
So the squat is what, world record?
Yep, all-time world record.
And what about the rest of them?
Everything but bench.
Okay.
Yep.
And what happened on the bench?
You know, I've been having problems with my forearm. And
she's right now rubbing some kind of liniment on it.
Muscle relief massage oil. I don't know. I was in the room.
Yeah.
So when I got my bench opener, and when I went down, my second attempt was 385, and when I went down, I noticed, like when I was pressing up and they made me hold it, it was excruciating.
In your forearm.
Yeah. So I didn't lock it out quite, so I took it on a third attempt, 385 again, and same thing. I was going down with it, and I just told him to take it. It was just.
And you don't know what's wrong with it? It's just all.
No, I need to schedule an MRI or an X-ray or something.
Yeah.
Because at my very first multiply meet, 3 years ago, I fractured it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm hoping that's not.
You fractured it benching.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that's just not the case. It's just like some tendonitis. I can. I don't know, get it rubbed out or take some anti-inflammatories or something, because I got some huge, because I was actually hoping to take the bench record.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my goal for so long.
So you're not feeling it in a muscle or anything, you're feeling it.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I can't grip it. Like closing and opening my arm or just like rotating it just all hurts.
Last time we were down here, we were talking about RPR, and I had told you guys to check that out. I would obviously get the MRI done first, but if it's not anything that they can pick up, you might want to look into that because it's amazing. I'm as beat up and
is that what Anthony gets?
No, he gets the grass and the dry needle.
No, I know, but he gets like something else too.
I'm not sure.
J.L. Holdsworth is one of the guys, him and Cal Dietz, I think, are the guys that created it or brought it to everyone's attention around here. But there's a lot of guys in Ohio that are doing it. And I'm like a piece of grizzled steak after doing this for so many years. I mean, it's gross and nothing works for me. But if I get some nagging injury that I can't figure out what it is, RPR always snaps it back into place.
See, it's Luke Edwards, his wife. She's like, she actually, the week before the meet, she did assessments on all of us.
Yeah.
All the sweat girls, and it was crazy. Like, she would do these assessments on us, and like, I failed like the glute one, the hip one, I failed all of it. And then she did some weird things, like she did like in the back of my head, she did like, it was something to reset something with the glute.
See, that sounds like what you were getting.
Yeah.
Is it super painful when she started?
It's excruciating.
Yeah, you were getting done.
Yeah. So then she did that, and then she redid the test, and then you passed.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It could be that mat therapy too. That
with like
RPR and mat are the similar. RPR hurts worse, but mat seems to be a lot more assessment. So you might want to check it out, RPR. But it sounds like what you were getting was the mat therapy done. I've had that done as well. But the RPR really gets in there, especially when you can't figure out what's wrong with you.
Right.
You are way more jacked than the last time I came down here.
I have ate so much food this week. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
God.
This week has been in the wind
oh my
for
gosh.
us. Big time.
Yeah, I am like huge right now.
Well,
usually not.
Is the weight cut pretty bad getting down to it?
Awful.
This has been the best one I've seen her do, like personally.
Everybody says that, but
are you dialing it in better, or?
I think I'm just learning my body better.
Yeah.
Because the first 15 pounds, it's a breeze.
How much did you cut?
18. I cut 17 or 18.
She walks around like 148 to 150.
And then what's the weight class?
132.
Okay.
132. So I cut from, like, I was seeing like 152, 153, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I got down to 149, and then the week up I got down to 146, and then cut from or water loaded from there.
Yeah.
But once it's super easy, and then I get to let's see, around 137, 136, and then it's just like a dead stop.
Starts putting the brakes on.
Yeah. So then I have to. I mean, this time like we started sauna on Friday because we did weigh-ins on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Shows on Sunday. We got in the sauna, I don't know, around 7. I did the first time was like 20, the first round was like 25 minutes. And I started, like, I immediately felt super nauseous. I started throwing up, my muscles were cramping. It was awful.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst sauna experience.
Yeah.
How long you staying in? Like 20 minutes, you said?
25 in, 20 out. Like, I actually had Dave Jinks help me with kind of like dialing this in better.
Yeah.
And he helped me a lot.
And how many sessions do you do that? 20 minutes in, 25 out, or 25 out?
It was supposed to be a few, but then because we were up at Power. Are you familiar with Power Station?
Yes.
Up in Middletown. The owner, they were actually closed. They let us stay late, and we were in the men's bathroom, and he's like super old school, like
right.
Doesn't cut anything. He's like, this is the second time she's did it. Like, tell me you don't have a woman in the restroom. He's like, and he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
That comes off as he's like military. He comes off as a dick, but he's like the most caring person ever.
Right.
And he just, he came back and checked, like, she make it yet? And then, like, he was telling the guy who was up there with us, he's like, oh, let me know if she made it. Like, he was super concerned about it.
Right.
But she was supposed to do, I think, 3 sessions of 20, so it was 25 then 20 minutes. And then that first session, she came out and was, like she said, she was puking. She's horrible at the sauna. That's all I found out.
But the heat just bothers you that much?
I mean, it's not bad at first, and then I just start, like, I mean, you can't have, like, your phone or anything in there, so you're just in there, and it seems like forever.
Yeah, right.
Because your phone will turn off,
right.
It's just so hot in there, you're just sitting there, like, oh my god, and, you feel so shitty, so, like, like, everything's tingling, and you just feel just, like, total shit, but...
And she don't sweat that much.
I don't. I was wearing a sauna suit. Like,
really?
I would be in there for 25 minutes, and then I'd get out and check the scale, and it'd be like, what? I went in, I think I dropped like maybe 4 ounces.
Oh, man.
It was something stupid like that. So I'd spend all that time in there.
For nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I was wearing a sauna suit. It was super hot. Like,
we were basically celebrating Friday morning because her weight was like, oh, this is going to be easy. And they're like, all right, let's cut these last 2 or 3 pounds or whatever it was. And then it was just like dead stop.
Yeah.
Like total dead stop. Then we came in and weighed in. And then we had to go over to LA Fitness and do 2 more. We did 2 or 3 more sauna sessions.
3.
3.
It's good thing do you have like these sauna places mapped out, or are you Googling this at last minute?
Well, we found this out. The last one's Pro-Am because she did the same thing, missed it, and we had to go get a sauna.
Right.
They let us in for free, which was cool. Then we had to like put her hood up and sneak her into the men's restroom because I'm not going to go let her sit in the women's thing because how she is.
Right.
So we did the same thing this time, and
that's funny.
Yeah.
He's a little short guy walking in the restroom,
and nobody's at the front desk, so we just like walked in.
Yeah.
I would go to the women's, to dry off my body, and I'm just like delirious. I just feel like total shit.
Yeah.
And these women are like, oh my god, and they're from LA Fitness.
Yeah,
they don't get it at all. And she's like, are you okay? And then they'll lecture me about like extreme fitness or something. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not working myself to death, I swear. They probably think, oh my god, she has some serious body image issues.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Or people probably like, because he's got a little timer out there making sure,
Yeah, I'm starving her. Making sure she's tiny.
Right. Can't have any fat on her.
But actually, I have gotten so many messages from, there's probably 5 or 6 in my inbox every single day from that weight cut. So people are just like, oh my gosh, Heidi, I saw you went through a dramatic weight cut. Can you help me? Or, hey, I have a wedding. I'm going to be, this weight. And I'm just like, I am not doing this for fun. These girls have, and I wanted to put that message out there too. I really should make a post about it because it's not like, as soon as I can weigh in, and it's not like, most people take their weigh-in pictures of ripped. Like, I'm so skinny and gross.
Yeah, right.
That is not like, it's not long term at all.
It's like the UFC fighters, some of them look horrible when they're getting on the scale,
terrible.
And then at the fight time they look great.
I could not imagine, right? Yeah. So me rehydrating is, I look way better, but that's.
Are you like I don't even know, is IV rehydration legal? Are you guys? Is that what
it's
you guys do?
legal, but I choose not to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've done it. I think I did it for 3 weeks, and I felt like crap every time. I don't know if I was just like doing it wrong or what, but I use Hydrus.
Okay.
I drink. I have like the same protocol. I eat the same foods.
Yeah, right.
Most people, when they weigh in, they just load up on sugar. It's so, that is like the worst thing you could ever do.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you just deprived yourself, and then you're giving all this shit.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And then you either sleep all day, you can't put your weight back on, or you feel terrible. So I rehydrate first. Amy Weisberger is the one who told me that. She's like, you want to drink as much as you can for an hour and a half or whatever. I probably drink almost 3/4 of a gallon of Hydrus.
Wow.
Before, because by the time I make weight, it's a Saturday or a Friday, so everything's busy. So, I mean, we usually have to end up waiting to eat, and I always go to First Watch and get myself a clean breakfast. It's my most favorite breakfast, so I'd rather eat good food first.
Yeah.
And then later, I mean, we have like Dewey's Pizza and stuff like that. Like ice cream, you can have that later, just not right when your body is just like completely deprived.
Right, yeah.
And weight cuts are very trying on a relationship.
Oh, for sure.
not a happy camper, I would imagine.
Yeah, no.
I think it was funny, like at the women's pro-am, seeing all like the girlfriends of the lifters that were, like competing, seeing how pissed they were getting at each other, and like walking away. I was like, oh, I'm not the only one. Like, that's who's going through this right now. it's just funny to see it like somebody else, because obviously like they're in pain and they're suffering, and then anything you do is going to piss them off. Right.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Just her face at that point. You're in front of her probably. Is the only thing you can do.
Yeah, like shoving her back in a sauna is not a good thing.
I'm like, it's the time. And he's like, no, stay there. And I'm like...
Yeah, we were down at Strongman Nationals a couple years ago, and it was crazy. The girls just in line for the sauna trying to get that last pound or two off, and how much that it's just got to just wreck you. I've never had a weight cut for anything, so... I'm totally oblivious to this stuff. We got a guy at the gym who was on years ago. He was on the Pan Am team for powerlifting. He just helped a guy the other day just try to get their weight cut down. And he when he was doing it, he was a paramedic, so he would give himself the IV afterwards, and it seemed to work for him. But I don't even know what that entails or if it's legal in certain. I know UFC wasn't letting them do the IV rehydration, which seems crazy to me. I think they're trying to eliminate that giant weight cut because, I mean, it's one thing when you're lifting weights, but if you get kicked in the head and you're that dehydrated,
My buddy used to fight for the UFC, Dom Steele, and he's from Cincinnati. We went to Vegas to watch him fight, and we spent the whole week there because we were just going to hang out all week. So I got to watch his last 2 days. I think he cut 30 or 35 pounds.
Holy shit.
It's kind of weird seeing, because like this dude's like killing himself. Like I'd go over, he was at, have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
He was at MGM, I was at the Luxor. So every morning and night I would get up and walk over there and just hang out with him because he had his trainers. But he'd be on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Then he'd go sauna, and then he'd go sit in an ice bath and keep doing that. And they were just giving him like a piece of broccoli, like no water, and like sitting and watching him die. Then the last thing he did was an alcohol bath, and he made me leave. He's like, I don't want you to
that.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want you to see me like this. He just looked like a zombie. And then he weighed in. They didn't have like no food or nothing. It was like just kind of like a shitty thing that happened.
Yeah.
So then we went down to Caesar's Palace because they took him to a buffet, and they were waiting in line for like an hour and a half. I got there. He didn't know who I was, and I've known this guy since I was like 12, 13. It was kind of shitty, but I don't like they didn't let him do that anymore because it was 35 pounds the last 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, that's
brutal.
Insane.
They were literally burning muscle off his legs at the end.
Right.
Because he was so far over.
Yeah, and it comes down to having, you guys, you got to have people in your camp that give a shit about you, or really not just give a shit about you, but know all the pitfalls that are going to come up afterwards. And you can't be waiting in line for an hour and a half to eat. You have to. It's got to be there and readily available. And
that's what she said. She always wants first watch after a weigh-in.
Yeah,
and it's in the morning at a busy.
Sure, yeah.
But luckily for me, I have to drink all those fluids before I can eat anyway. Right. So it's just like that gives me time. once I weigh in, I can just keep drinking, and by the time it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it's like, that time's off pretty perfectly.
Yeah, we looked
But
up.
I miss weight. I miss weigh-ins are usually around 8. I miss it every time. Every time.
Well, we were up the first sauna at the power station, and her scale was saying it was 4 pounds off every time. She was like, what was it, 136?
Oh yeah.
And then she was like 140. It was like going back and forth. Then we went and put it on hardwood. It was kept doing the wrong things.
Like a digital scale.
Yeah.
Luckily, Laura was there that night, and we got the weigh in on this, and we could see really where she was at. But it's been like every time. I don't think you can't plan it out because of how your body is.
Right. And these are such extreme weight cuts. Like I would never even attempt these if it weren't for world records.
Right.
Like some of these girls I see that just, for
a wedding.
Well,
yeah, because you imagine standing there for a wedding.
Oh my gosh, you would feel terrible. But and that's what I was saying. Like as soon as I weigh in, I'm putting all that weight back on.
Right.
It's not like anything long term. But I would not attempt these. I only solely do it for world records.
Yeah, that's so weird, and you always tell people, owning a gym, you're always telling people, don't worry about the scale, It's always that. I got to lose 5 pounds, and you're really going to put yourself, you're probably going to any different at 5 pounds less, in some extreme weight cut.
So many people are stuck on weight classes. So they're like, oh my gosh, it's my first meet. I have to weigh in at this. And I'm like, just go in and have a positive meet experience.
Well, when I went down to nationals I qualified for nationals in strongman, and I got down there, and there was a 242 class. There was supposed to be a 242, 275, heavyweight, super heavyweight.
Yeah.
And I was like one of the only guys who showed up for the 242 class. So I'm just like, well, they're like, well, we're just going to combine all the heavyweight classes. So I'm like, okay. So, I have to cut that maybe 1 or 2 pounds, but now you're competing against super heavies, and it was always fun. But what is there any plans to go up a weight class and start pulling in world records there?
She needs to.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any plans in her head.
Eventually, yeah. But Shane is so set on me doing 12 times body weight total. That's not gonna happen.
He was talking about that when I interviewed him.
Yeah. So for WPO, I was planning on this being my last cut. But for WPO, I think I want to.
WPO is November what?
18th, 19th, something like that.
I'm trying to work on getting down there for that one. There's a Highland Games down there that weekend, and I was just talking to Jack and Stasia from Hawaii, and they're going down for that. I've been trying to. I was going to come down here a few days ago to interview them, and I just too much going on. But hopefully I can catch them in it's in St. Pete, right? St. Pete Beach.
It's in Orlando.
Oh, is it in Orlando?
Yeah.
Maybe I won't be down there then. I think it's in St. Pete.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I plan on actually, he's right, trying to maybe hold my body weight a little lower at this time.
I wonder what you get out of it if you just went in, at whatever weight you walk around at,
without having to cut that. In Finland, she did 148. But it was kind of like a new experience.
Yeah.
We weren't used to traveling. We swelled up.
She told me last time that she put on 10 pounds on the airplane.
I
It's
swear,
because of the flight.
It happened.
I don't know. I couldn't even wrap her knee wraps because my fingers got so swelled up.
No shit.
That was 5 days after we landed.
It was
crazy.
Horrible.
And
That's
then
odd, yeah.
And then she was. If it wasn't for Kale and Yarko and a few other of Kale's people, we would have been so, because nobody speaks English over there.
Right.
They get a little bit, it'd be talking to a 5-year-old, but we'd have been screwed, and everything's in kilos, and you don't think that's a big deal until
you do that
you're
math.
talking. Yeah, you're talking to somebody that's loading plates, and you're like,
And then you warm up. They're like, "What do you want?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell them. It's something. It was definitely a learning experience.
Yeah. Thank God everybody over there is super, super, super nice.
Yeah. Right.
They were just incredible.
But she did okay over there at 148. It was just a lot to deal with, being over there.
Sure.
And she didn't. What'd you squat? When you squatting?
550.
Yeah.
560, something like that.
It was a cool experience, but I don't think we'd have to plan it out better for her to do 148.
Yeah, and you got to look
at.
That
was also just I just couldn't say no to that meet. I did a meet prior, a 1 month. That was the women's meet.
Yeah.
In April, and then I just Finland was a month later.
Right.
So I kind of just planned on going up a weight class. Doing a meet in a different country. It was mostly for experience.
Pretty cool experience, I imagine.
Hit some crazy numbers at 148. They're still somewhat competitive, but I would be a very small 148, but I would never be, like, I'm not going to be over 150 pounds. Like, my body feels terrible at that weight anyway, so I can't see me, like, growing into
Yeah, because you figure, what, the girls are probably 160 or something by the time they
Rita
rehydrate?
West usually cuts from, like, 170 to 148.
Rita West is a 148?
She did. The last one.
Holy shit.
She looks, I mean, gosh, she's such a badass.
Yeah, she sure is. And she looks a lot bigger than 148.
Oh,
I can't
well,
even
now
imagine
she
gets
can
out
do
of
that. She did like a 5-pound weight cut to 165 this
Okay.
time. But when we were in Syracuse, what she was pushing 190.
I think, was she trying to get to 200?
She was like, that's her goal.
How tall is she?
I don't know.
Not that tall.
4 maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's just a little tank, and she's like the sweetest person. I remember I was like so intimidated by her, like previously.
I've never met her in person. I've just seen her on Facebook or on social media and stuff, and she is a bad woman for sure.
Definitely.
So is the next meet? Is that the next meet, the WPO one? That's pretty cool. You guys get that WPO cash back, right? What's the winning total? They've told you yet?
They haven't announced it. I'm not sure because it's invite only, so I can't imagine what the number's going to be.
It better be big because they're pulling in a lot of names.
Oh, for sure. That's what we were just talking about.
I was like, oh, maybe I'll make the run to cut to 132.
Yeah. I mean,
all we've seen so far is the belts that they had made. They haven't said anything about.
Really awesome.
Yeah. Forget about the belts. It's WPO. Anybody can get you belts. It should give you that cash. That's what's crazy to me is, when I competed Pro Highland Games, I get invited to a meet. I would say, first thing I would ask is, what's the prize money?
Yeah. And,
they would give you the prize money, and then they would say, your flight leaves at this time, and here's where your hotel is, and here's your stipend for food, and then,
wow,
you get to do all, all these incredible powerlifters aren't making anything.
No, I mean, like, we'll have to spend our own money, like, I mean, everybody will for Orlando.
Right.
To pay for,
Do you guys have sponsors or anything?
I'm sponsored by Live Large.
Right.
Yeah, but
what's the gentleman's name who owns that?
Nick from Live Large. But, Nick Robson.
Nick Robson, okay. Yeah. I'm supposed to, I'm at a meet in Dayton, I think, and he's there too, so I was looking forward to meeting him when we go down.
How soon is that? Because I'm doing that meet.
May 12th?
Yeah, that's the one I'm doing.
I'm not in it. I'm just gonna have a table there.
I'm doing. I do the expos that he can't do, or not.
Expos, okay.
Meets or whatever, because he's gonna be in Hawaii.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just talked to. I can't remember. Was it Mike Smith? I think's the. Chris Smith. Right. Yeah. So I just got a table down there for our stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got some mutual friends from was it Eaton Barbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna hopefully hang out with them too. So it should be fun. Tell me about what's going on with you. So Chad has had a rough few months here.
Yeah,
this has been the most difficult year.
Yeah, this year, like the new year, new me.
Yeah.
Like I just found out randomly that she was there. We was at my I had like some kind of pain down there for like 2 weeks or something. It was very random. I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. Like when I put my gear on, it kind of hurt. Like briefs and like deadlift suit.
Yeah.
And then it kind of got like hard. I didn't think nothing. I was like, I'll just go away. It's just something I did. Like
you think about that I'm always hurt.
Yeah.
It'll just go away.
Yeah, for sure. And then we were hanging out with the kids, and I blamed immediately on her because I blamed everything on her. I thought she made lunch or something like that. And I was like, man, my stomach's messed up. I was like, what'd you put in my food? Like, you trying to kill me?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to throw up because I got real sick. And then it felt like somebody kicked me down there. And I was like, oh my God. And then that pain never went away. Like usually, 10 minutes it goes away. And then, so we went back to our house. I packed the bag. I was like, something's real wrong. I was like, we're about to spend some time in the hospital.
Yeah.
So we get in there, and then the pain kept getting worse. They did an ultrasound on it, and they thought it torsioned.
Yeah.
I guess that's very common.
It's super common. It's super painful.
Yeah. So they're like, we're going to go in and try to save it. So they did emergency surgery at 2 a.m.
I always tell my wife that's my worst fear in life is getting torsion.
Well, it's funny because I used to, my brother's wife's sister, her boyfriend he had it happen, and he had it taken out.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we'd always make fun of him, like, oh, you have one ball, like, you're not even a man. So, fast forward 10 years later, here I thought, I was like, this is payback right here.
Right.
This is karma.
Yeah. So they go in, they found out it was dead or whatever it was. They're just like, we'll have a follow-up in a week, and you'll come back and, we'll get it tested and blah, blah. So then that Tuesday, they said it was cancerous. So, like, that was, like, the world ended. I basically thought I was going to die.
Right.
Like, immediately.
That's got to be the first thing that goes to your head anytime they say
like
that.
the worst.
Right, because you're like, oh my god, like what stage is this? How long have I had, had this?
Yeah.
It's just
the hardest thing I ever had to do was like call my mom and tell her I had cancer.
Yeah.
Like the hardest thing. Like it took me like 5 minutes to like leave her on the phone. Like I couldn't even say it.
Yeah.
And so we went through, had to get all these scans done, blood work, like nonstop, like 2 or 3 times a week. And then we wound up switching doctors downtown, and she was immediately like, you have to go through 3 rounds of chemo. Like didn't say nothing else. Like that was it. That was the decision. Blah blah. And then I went and got the port in my chest that following Friday, and I was supposed to start chemo that Monday. So then we met with the doctor Thursday, right before I got the port in my chest. He's like, did they test you? Blah blah. Like what are your levels? And my levels were 189 before they took blood work, before they took the testicle out. And then he got them tested. They dropped was it 28?
24.
24. He's like, that's still like under 5 says like you're cancer free. So I was still at 28.
Okay.
So he's like, he's older. He's probably like 70.
Well, yeah, he's like incredible.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Awesome, amazing person. He's like, hey, once you get this surgery, take all the stuff out. We're going to travel. Take out because I guess when you get testicular cancer, they take out the testicle and the spermatic cord.
Okay.
Because that's where everything, like, that's where it travels to.
Okay.
Well, they just took out the testicles because they thought it was a torsion. He's like, just take out your spermatic cord, all your lymph nodes, everything that it would spread to, instead of getting chemo. Because I don't know about chemo. I know, you say people were getting chemo, you don't really look in to see how bad it is. You see,
it's absolutely horrible.
He's like, you're taking 10 years off your life. He's like, at least when you get chemo.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
And I have 2 kids, so that was kind of like, that was a big factor. And
I think people are just like, when you find out you have cancer and you don't know a whole lot about it, you're
Sure.
just like, oh my gosh, get this out of my body,
Right.
do what you have to do. You kind of just don't really think of,
And you don't
what
think
all
it's a
are your
doctor.
options at the
Right.
time.
You're not
100%.
asking what else can I
and
do.
we had 3
Yeah.
different doctors before we even decided, like, okay, this is the best route to go.
Great though that you actually
we
did
lucked
some
out.
research and
Yeah.
found out what the best course of action
Because he
is.
was like solely set on, like, okay, second doctor, let's do the chemo, let's just get this out of my body. And I'm thinking, that's 9 weeks. Like, you're about to go through all of this, take 10 years off your life potentially. They said you're at risk for having these chemicals in your body for 30 years.
It's a poison.
And
Just
then they're
injecting
just
the
going to
poison.
kill all of those, like, good or bad cells,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
I was just like, I was kind of pissed off because I'm like, how is this just like, we meet this doctor and this is just like, all right, this is the plan of action.
And I've got 17 more patients, and I'm going to tell them the
Yeah,
exact
and
same
I was
thing.
just like, I'm not okay with
That's
that.
how the first 2 doctors
And
were.
then they said,
No.
like, he got the port for the chemo because it was just like, literally, we found that out like within a day.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I just knew something was not right. Like, that was not the answer. So when we met with this doctor, he thinks I'm gullible, but I was just like, no, this is awesome because this doctor took the time to even, test all his levels. If they drop from 189 to 24 to 12 and now they're at a 2,
Right.
like,
And
that,
5 is cancer free.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's
There
not,
were
he hasn't
2
got the
after
official
the surgery I
clear,
just got.
but I'm just like, if you, that doctor who said 9 weeks of chemo, why wouldn't she test those blood levels
Sure,
and be like,
right.
you know what, maybe are we doing this for no reason?
Right.
She didn't want to do the surgery at all. So
Well, she didn't even bring it up.
no. So
You didn't know it was an option.
the risks,
No, nothing.
the risks for surgery are way less than putting all that in your body for 9 weeks.
Yeah, he basically said, you can recover from surgery, but you can't really recover from like chemo.
And he was pro chemo. He was like, if that adds, if you're like stage 4 or whatever, and this, you have like 5 years to live, if that puts some some time on your life, go for it.
Yeah.
But at this point, how your cancer is like stage 1, and that he didn't really believe that was like the
Right.
course of treatment.
Yeah, that's amazing that putting that kind of poison in your body is the most advanced form of treatment we have right now to deal with it.
Right.
He told us, like doctors they don't know exactly what's right and wrong. He said they just make their best like judgment, which is cool. Like it was both cool and scary to hear from a doctor. That's
right.
Rip you open.
Right.
He's like, this is just what I found out is the best answer for me, at least.
Well, that's
like
great.
Him because he gave his cell phone number. I mean, we called him on a Sunday. He picked up right away.
Yeah.
He was just like, I mean, he came to see him in the hospital. Like he was just anything we needed.
Yeah, I had complications 3 days after I got let out of the hospital with like fluid, because I've had a few like minor surgeries, but never like major, and all this fluid was going back and forth in my body. Like I couldn't see my knees, then it'd go up to my hips.
No shit.
So then it wound up going to my scrotum,
right,
and it got the size of a cantaloupe. I got freaked out.
Yeah,
I'm not exaggerating at all.
Knees, hips, and
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would like when he says that, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, and I see it, I'm like, oh shit, like something is wrong.
We called him like, hey, like I don't think this is right, and he's like, well, if you think you need, like we called him. I thought he was gonna give me some just like random, hospital number, but it was his cell phone. Yeah. He's like, go down to the emergency room right now. I'll call him, ahead of time. And they just like, I walked right back to the back. Yeah. And he seen me that following morning.
What did they do for you?
He said you couldn't do nothing about it. He said you just keep walking. They're really big on walking and getting up and like staying active. Okay. He said that's where he's like, prop everything up so the fluid drains out of your scrotum. So like that night when we got back, I stayed another night in the hospital. That night I slept in bed because I was so sick of sleeping in a recliner. Yeah, I bet, yeah. So I was like, I propped my legs up, and then everything drained. It was like night and day out of my knees, scrotum, to like my lower back and hips. Right.
He had 25 pounds of fluid on him. Wow. 25 pounds. He's like, oh my god, I'm 245. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, I went in at like 221 or something, like 220. Yeah. And I came out at 245 at the hospital.
And it just eventually dissipates.
I weighed this morning, I was 210. If you would have seen me last week, you wouldn't have. I'm a completely different, like, looking person. Right. It's insane to me because I didn't
lose like 10 pounds overnight. Right. Just of all that fluid.
Yeah, it was definitely
crazy.
I didn't ask enough questions before surgery. Is what happened.
Well, how do you don't ask that question?
What's going to happen after? Because I've been telling a million people this. He said it was going to be a 4-inch incision above my belly button. Okay. So
I saw they fucked up your tattoo, kind of right down the middle.
Yeah, I know. Which is fine. I was like, I don't care, but like a 4-inch incision, is that big. Yeah. And now like it's this.
I would say it's a lot bigger than 4 inches.
Yeah. So like I woke up and like was in extreme because they said I was going to do one night in the hospital and turned into all week. And when I got to see it and they took that bandage off, I could see all these staples. I was like, oh my god. It's like,
oh shit.
Did you get the staples out yesterday? I thought I saw.
We're supposed to get them out yesterday, but he said he wants to give them another week just to make sure everything's sealed up. But he says, I'm doing better than a lot of people and everything's fine. Just got
probably a lot healthier than 90% of the people he deals with.
Well, it went from like a 4-hour surgery to 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So what are you in the weight room just freaking out?
Oh yeah, and it's funny because he's like, you better go train because it's like one of my last big train days.
He's like, what's she gonna do in the hospital getting surgery?
I couldn't train. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, we sit in the waiting room and freak.
I came here and I was just like, I dropped people's meals off and I'm like, nope, there's no way. So the first thing he says to me when he gets out of surgery, I thought I'd be all doped up, and he's like, did you go train? Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It was just like, I remember getting rolled back at 7 and then waking up at 5:30. I was like, what happened to me?
Yeah. They took out like 28 lymph nodes in his abdomen and his kidney. So, like when the doctor came out and talked to me, he's like, this, he's obviously like, in his 70s, but he's like an older person. This is a major surgery. He's like, it would have killed me. Wow. He's like, this is like such an extensive surgery. He's an inpatient person already, but I knew he had like a long road ahead of him. And like when we saw the doctor yesterday for the first time, he's like, I can't believe you're already like, most people like pray that they're like this. Yeah. Because he's just, he's pretty normal now.
Yeah. It was like I'm still like getting up and like walking.
Yeah, I bet.
And then, like my biggest thing was like being healthy enough where I could like beat her meet. Yeah. Because if I was like, we went through all this, like I didn't go through any of it. She went through like training and everything, and like being there, like cutting her last weight. Like that was like the main concern about being there. Yeah. Because at first when I obviously that week we were in the hospital, I couldn't walk. We'd like relearn how to walk. I had a catheter, like all that. Like it was and it was like the most ridiculous thing ever. Like she's out, like I'm super impatient, so not being able to walk and like do stuff for myself was like the most like lowest point like I've ever been. Like I said, I wasn't prepared for it at all, and just not being able to do anything and like having her have to do stuff for me, like sitting up, I couldn't sit up. It was the gnarliest thing ever. It makes you appreciate getting up out of bed every morning.
Right.
Like sitting up is just I can't even explain it.
And they also said, because I mean powerlifters have like thick abs.
Yeah.
He said like cutting through that was crazy. I mean it took so long. Yeah. I mean we have really thick abs.
No, so yeah, I totally get that.
That's why it took a lot longer. Like when he got his port in, he's so muscular, like, you know, up in his traps and all that. Like I guess the port goes through your
collarbone.
I mean, it's from like here to here. It goes to the main valve. But he had some complications with that because he's so like muscular.
But it probably saved you. It's probably the reason why you're.
Yeah, every time I think something sucks, it's like, oh, I'm alive.
Yeah, I gotta, and it's kind of weird to say this. This probably won't come out until late June. But as I say it, I've got a buddy who has leukemia, and so by the time this comes out, I'll probably have already attended the funeral.
Yeah.
So when you look at that,
how old is he?
Probably 34, 35. So you think about it. He went in a couple weeks ago, and they told him you have 4 to 6 weeks to live. I mean, and what goes through your brain when a doctor tells you it's like, no chemo, no surgery, you have 4 to 6 weeks, and that's it. End of story.
I couldn't even imagine processing that.
Yeah, and his wife, and you know, the local community kind of came together and got him. They got him a great last month. You know, he went down to Florida, and they're, you know, on the beach, and he's in Cleveland Brown Stadium, and they got his name on the scoreboard and everything. But you know, I mean, he's in the hospital now, so I just sent him a text and said, "I love you," and that was it. You know, we're not, you know, that was it. So
it's crazy. Like once we, you know, kind of came out, he had testicular cancer. Most people are like, oh, I know this person that, you know, this person. There's like so many people that have cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
My wife works for the VA, and that's what she works with.
Like so. I mean, you know, a lot of people have cancer, but like once it actually like affects you, then I mean, people just pour out with all these stories.
Yeah, the shirts. I've seen those shirts everywhere now.
Yes,
so like the powerlifting, I think I put this up the other day. Like powerlifting is so, because of social media, it's got like, you know, people hate on this, blah blah, like the internet judges, all that. Like that's the bullshit side of powerlifting, and all these people came out, people I don't even know, just from powerlifting, seeing her, me, just from like sweatshops, stuff like that, coming out and like getting shirts, and they send me all these messages, you know, hope you get healthy so soon. And it's been insane to me, like how many people have came out, and been so supportive about it. And then like, you know, and also you get the stories about, you know, this person's going through this type of cancer. Like you don't see it until somebody tells you about it. And it's been, like I said, it's been so like eye-opening, and I've been so grateful because, I mean, it's mostly, I didn't know anybody before this gym, and, you know, being around Lord and all these people, I've got to meet so many like cool people, and, you know, big people in the sport, and just them coming out. Like we're over 200 shirts now, because so many people hit me up after the fact because they missed the first pre-sale. I was like, well, I'll do it again, and we've went over 200 shirts, and it's insane to me because like in powerlifting, I'm nobody. I just know a lot of people.
His goal was 40.
If it wasn't for Anthony Oliveira, I would have got printed 40 shirts.
He's
at Westside.
Yeah, what's the name of his clothing line?
Stay Hated.
Stay Hated. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well,
I knew that I couldn't. Yeah. I see it in logos and I can't.
It's True to Warning Conjugate, but he has the Stay Hated as the slogan.
Right.
But he's been like, him and his girlfriend Val have been like so supportive. Like he'd hit me up every day. Like you know he would want to drive down Columbus and just like sit with me in the hospital. Like, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah. Right.
Like when they found out he was having chemo, like Val's one of my training partners. You know, I was just gonna skip training, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go to the hospital, sit with him, because chemo, the first session is like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna sit there all day, and he's like, no, you need to train. So he was gonna, like, we're gonna do shifts.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, it's funny because like Anthony and Chad, like, were not friends when they first started.
Yeah.
At like whenever like they first met, and now they're like
I fucking hated
besties.
Yeah. Hated that guy.
It's really cool to see though.
Yeah, you get that. Sometimes you
supportive.
get that where you meet these guys and at first before you break down that bravado a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like, I've met so many people, because I judge people immediately.
Yeah.
It's not something, it's just what I do. I can't help it. And me and him, like, I just thought it's been this big thing, like, oh, he's at West Side. I was like, I can out squat him any day of the week. And like, it would just keep me up at night seeing his videos. We follow each other, but we were watching each other's stuff.
Right.
And then we finally, I had to meet down in Tennessee. It was the first time I met him. And it was still hated him. And then it wasn't until the New York meet at Rita's that we actually started talking. And then I went up there a few times and trained with all the guys.
Yeah.
And then we just became, just good friends since then. But like I said, I was really going to print out 40 shirts and just hope to God they sold out.
Yeah.
He's like, no. He's like, set it up on this website and do a pre-order. We sold 181 shirts the first go around.
That's amazing.
And he came, we packed them all up the following week after I got out of the hospital. I really couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't put my shoes on. And he drove down from Columbus. We set up in my kitchen. And he printed all the labels out and helped us pack. Like, we spent like 5 hours just packing shirts. So super good person, him and his girlfriend. And like the people, like the Wrecking Crew guys, I don't know if you've seen all them, who I train with. They, the same thing. They like, you can come down. They wanted to come down and sit with me and come to the hospital. I was like, and most of the guys besides Miller, who trains here, they're all up in Dayton, and they were they were wanting to drive down. I was like, don't feel bad for me. Like, I don't want you to come. Like, nobody wants you to sit in a hospital.
I don't.
I was like, I'm okay.
I wouldn't look at it that way though, man. You've got this outpouring of people who want to help and want to do something, and they probably feel super helpless.
I just don't like. I don't like.
Nobody
like asking for handouts.
Sure.
Because that was a big thing with the shirts too. Like, oh, you should start like a donation thing. Like, no, I want to give somebody a product.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. I don't want to have donations.
Right.
Like, no disrespect to people who get donations. It's fine. But I don't like people helping me.
Well, and there's those donations come out for everything. So everybody has a GoFundMe thing.
Yeah.
And I see people having GoFundMe
for
pages.
speeding tickets.
Yeah. or they want me to, we started our own clothing line about, it had been in the process for about a year, but we started it in March, and I think it was just a couple weeks ago, I started getting people wanting me to, sponsor them so they could go do some weird event, or they want me to donate to their GoFundMe page. I'm like, look, I'm not going to sponsor your hobby, dude. I don't have the money yet to do that. But,
sure.
So you see these people with these weird GoFundMe pages so they could go and play ping pong somewhere. It's like, no, that's your hobby. Like, you got to pay for all this shit to go break world records,
I understand that. Like, I saw one the other day. It was like, hey, I just got into fitness. I really like it. Can you pay for my entry fee for this?
Right.
My family's tickets, like for a bikini show. And I'm just like, if this is what you love to do,
find a way to
pay for it.
If you can't afford to get yourself there, maybe you shouldn't be training. You should be working.
Exactly.
Figuring out your life.
I just don't understand. Like, if I couldn't afford to go to Orlando, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go.
I would not ask people to, support that.
But that's a very old school mentality.
That's crazy.
You don't see that this day and age that often anymore. Especially when it's so easy to get people to go on your GoFundMe page and donate money to you.
Well, I think especially in powerlifting, people, they put a sponsored athlete, like, okay, they probably sent you a free shirt once a month.
So that
was
my buddy Craig, who trains at Eaton. When I started the clothing brand, that's what I had like 5 or 6 people that I gave free shit to, just because I like them and I want them to wear my stuff and they've been on the podcast or whatever. So I was calling them sponsored athletes, and he brought it to my attention. That's not a sponsored athlete. Don't call that. So I was thinking to myself, it's another brand ambassadors. I'm not giving them a dime.
Right.
There's a big distinction there.
See, Nick from Live Large, like, he'll pay for my meet entries and like he'll give you
that's being sponsored.
Each person like an allowance.
Yeah.
So that really helps. So I'm like really appreciative of that. But and you can
Yeah,
get clothing you want. Like he's been awesome.
Yeah, that's giving back to the sport, and that's gonna come back on him, double.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the brands that actually help out the athletes.
Yeah.
Not just send them a T-shirt.
I've heard nothing but good things about the guy. Last time we were down here, we were talking about him too, and I'm gonna have to get a hold of him, get him on the show, and let him sling some T-shirts.
Yeah. He's up in Cuyahoga Falls.
Oh, so he's right down the road from me.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll find him. I'll get his number from him. Get him on.
Yeah.
So as far as lifting, are we even thinking about what that looks like in the future?
Every single day.
Yeah.
He said 3 more weeks I can go back to like lifting, because he, I don't think he understands. We told him a little bit, but he understands like what kind of lifting we do.
Absolutely.
But he said, don't ever do it. You can just go back to normal lifting. He's like running and stuff like that. So for me, I'm probably just going to do it back, because I had this big thing last year. Has it been last year?
For what?
The bench.
Oh yeah.
Like 500 raw bench has been like a big thing for me. So I think I'm going to do that to get my stomach and everything a little bit more time to heal.
Yeah.
Not like totally stop squatting, but that aggravates me more in a 1,010 squat.
I'm going to make sure like he goes back slowly.
It's tough, and like you said, he doesn't really understand what you do. When I had a blood clot in my leg, and first doctor I went to, she was like, you can't lift anything over 40 pounds for the next 6 months. And I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we went to the Cleveland Clinic, and I talked to Dr. McRae, and he throws his foot up on the desk. He's like leaning back, and he goes, yeah, I don't see why you can't exercise. And I'm like, all right, we're out of here, honey. And just as I'm getting ready to leave, my wife grabs my hand. She goes, why don't you tell him what you really do? So I started explaining to him, about the trainer. And he said, well, let's go 75, 80%, which lasted about 3 weeks. And I, back to wherever I was. But you'll be able to regulate your body and figure out what hurts and what doesn't.
Yeah, like I tore my hamstring. I've got an infection in this leg, and like it's been. When I tore my hamstring, I was scared to squat and deadlift for a very long time, like 6 months. Like it just scared me. Like you could feel it pulling and stuff, because I didn't go through all the physical therapy that they told me I should do, and like
normal.
Yeah, they went on they want all your money. Like I'm not paying you. They told me to take 2 weeks and lay in bed for 2 weeks after I tore my hamstring. Like I have bills.
Yeah.
And kids. Like I can't just go lay in bed.
You also have access to two of the best people in the country that can help you rehab shit.
And then like all that, but this is obviously a little bit different because my stomach got laid open. So we'll see. It's very like feeling everything out, because like I can, it doesn't really hurt. I mean, it hurts like the turn and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've told me like nothing over 5 pounds for 6 weeks. I'm like, I don't think so. I tried like
fucking watch weighs more than 5 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like it's kind of shitty because I can't pick up my 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah,
that's the biggest shittiest thing. But like I said, like that 3 more weeks, we'll actually step foot back in the gym and try to see where it goes.
Well, 500-pound bench is raw benches. That's pretty fucking rare. There's not that many people, especially your body weight, that can do that.
Well, the last time I was here, I hit 470 and missed 500.
Yeah.
Certain people will say I got smushed with it, but it was a couple inches off my chest. It's more about respect. Like
you're at 470, you got to take a shot. One way or another.
Well, it's the thing. Like I could have went, maybe 45 and got it. I was like, no, like it was a bench. I only did bench only.
Yeah.
I was like, I want 500. I'm at least gonna load the bar with it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like if you don't respect that. Like if you don't respect, everybody wants to like, oh, I'm squatting 1,000 pounds. Like if you don't respect the weight, you're not going to squat.
No, yeah.
And it's not. There's a reason it's 1,000 pounds and people don't do it that often. Like 500 raw bench, it's a very good thing. It's like double. It'd be double my body weight.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's just like a lot of people expect to do these numbers until they get under those numbers. Like I thought I was going to smoke 1,010 squat, and you stand up with that weight, and it's like, oh shit, like your body's not supposed to do it.
I talk about that a lot. There's a lot of like a lot of the CrossFit coaches, we pull in people that start out at CrossFit and then they come to us. It's kind of like the end game. It's like, I like this fitness shit, but I want to lift heavy. So they'll come to us, and they'll be amazed at how we can get them up to certain numbers. And I always say, it's very difficult for someone to teach you how to deadlift 600 pounds if they've never deadlifted 600 pounds, because there's all these different stressors. Like you were talking about, the best bench I ever had was 455. Now I was 310 pounds. But there's a huge fucking difference. Heavy is heavy, yeah, but when you get up to those numbers where if you screw up, something horrible is going to happen to you. It's a whole different ball game. And if you have never done that, it's very difficult for you being a 400-pound squatter and showing some guy how to squat 600 pounds, because there's so much different shit that goes on in your body.
For sure. Me and Anthony, we started our own little like YouTube page. It's I got 5s on it, so we're just doing like 5 minutes of. It started off as like we're just gonna, this is what pisses us off.
Yeah, right.
And we started
just
talking.
Ranting.
Yeah, it's some of it is ranting. I was like, I messaged him. I'm like, hey man, I was like, that's what people are gonna expect from like you and me.
Yeah.
Just tattooed assholes. And I was like, why don't we like do something a little bit more like helping out, like lifters who haven't like been doing it that long, or have questions. And that was one of the things. Like, there's a big difference between a 900-pound squat and a 1,000-pound squat, and people like put the road to 1,000, squat, and they're squatting 700 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like,
especially when you get to 700 pounds, it's a lot easier to get to 700 pounds than put that next 300 pounds on, because the stronger you get, the harder it is to add that weight. That's a massive like jump, and people, if you don't, like I said, if you don't respect the weight, it'll throw you down really quick and potentially kill you. I mean, you're getting into weights that will kill you if you screw up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Less room for error, for sure.
It's like we were talking. Laura was talking to her about how many meets that Laura said she bombed out, over and over again. How her progress has been, it's been an uphill the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why I told her, I'm like, I'm waiting for her to have a bad meet.
I know it's coming. Like, I put 20 pounds in a world record squat for the past year.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, when I started, when I broke my very first world record, that total record 2 years ago was 1333 by Amy Weisberger.
Yeah.
Like, I had that up to 1500. Like, once you think about like what I've done in such a short amount of time, like Laura was saying, like, like I was pissed on my bench, and I was just like, I could have bombed out. I could have done, like, I know that these meets have just been like, I've had pretty perfect meets.
And so what sucks is if you're only competing twice a year, 3 times a year, that's a long way to wait to redeem yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what like really scares me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I bomb out and I've cut 17, 18 pounds or only do 2 meets per year, like that's just gonna, that's pretty scary.
We were talking about that last night, like with Laura, she's squatting 750 pounds, like numbers that 70, I'm sorry. That's numbers that
don't take your last 20 pounds.
Yeah. That's numbers that, somebody with that frame is not supposed to handle.
No.
Some man is not supposed to handle.
And that's something like I wish, like when she was doing those, like I wasn't even powerlifting yet, but I would do anything to see her squat 770 pounds.
Yeah.
At what, 165 did she get it?
Yeah.
Like, can you think about that?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. I was talking to them about like her world record bench, 530 or 540. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right.
She literally, like, could you imagine taking that as a bench opener? Like,
that's crazy.
And being such a little, it's funny because she's like, she helps so many people now, but like to think about like her mindset when she, back when she competed, like it's something that is just
she was the best.
Makes her, when she set out a goal, I mean, there's nothing that stopped her.
Yeah.
She was saying how superstitious she is. She said like when she would like, get down on a bench, like the color red was unlucky for her.
Right.
Like she just did not like the color red. So she would like close her eyes if the bench was red or anything. She would like close her eyes and act like she didn't see it, just so she would like actually bench it.
You get those.
Yeah. And then like Anthony, he's like super weird about that too. Like he has to lock his car 1,000,000 times.
Like he's got a little OCD happening there.
He's got a lot of OCD.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He always taught, I was like, hey, when you do this meet, I was like, you guys can stay with us. You just have to drive back to Columbus after weigh-ins and back. He's like, no, I'm a lunatic. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it took me 20 minutes to lock my car the last meet I was here.
Wow.
I was like, dude, you're full of shit. So I went up and ate lunch with him. This is before my surgery, just to like hang out. We were doing the videos. And we were outside a Mexican restaurant, and he's like sitting there, standing. He's like, fuck you. He's like, don't look at me. He's like, he locked his car like 30 times.
Yeah.
He's just like, it doesn't feel right. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And my kids' friends will take like videos of him just walking back and forth to his car to his house to make sure it's locked.
It's insane.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you get those people that are they've got some kind of gear that's not firing,
Right.
but then they become really good at whatever
Yeah,
they're doing.
I thought about it because like there was a shirt I put on for it was our like big squat openers, and I was like, oh my god, I've never worn this shirt to squat. So I like took it off, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm one of them.
Yeah, we had a guy who used to throw, Ben Pluckney. He was also the American record holder in the discus, and he used to train in this garage in San Jose, California. And there was a T-shirt that was sitting in the corner of the garage that he was afraid of and would not go near that T-shirt and just left it sitting there.
What?
It was some kind of weird luck thing that he knew if he touched that T-shirt, he wasn't going to throw very far anymore. So he just would avoid this T-shirt at all costs, and he wouldn't let anyone else touch it either.
That's
so this
funny.
balled up T-shirt just sat in the garage and got gross for 10 years. You know? People got some weird switches in their heads, but they channel it in other ways. So we're looking at Orlando in November, right? And a 500-pound bench for you.
Hopefully this year.
Yeah.
I would like to do a meet this year just to like kick cancer like right in the dick and just like come back and
Right in the
do some-
testicle.
Yeah, right in the other testicle. I don't have that it took from me. Yeah, it wouldn't probably be the end of the year either.
Yeah. Do you guys know Adrienne Blewett? Adrienne Wilson? She was a thrower at Ashland. She had non-Hodgkin's, and she qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials in the shot put. Found out she had cancer, ended up going through the chemo and everything and beating it, and then showed up at the U.S. Olympic trials within a year with the I kicked cancer's ass T-shirt on. And damn near made the team. So I mean, it's possible you can get back there. It's just a matter of putting that work in.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost made me, because I was 7 weeks out from the meet I was going to do, and then it's like this literally came out of nowhere. So it's made me mad for all this time.
What meet were you going to do?
Well, actually, I don't think it's getting canceled now. The Power Station meet.
Okay.
Like it was like full, multiply, full powerlifting, whatever. And this came out of nowhere, so it's I've been angry this whole time.
Yeah.
Until like everybody started coming out, the woodwork to help me out, and it's like I said, it's been an eye opening, but being grateful to be alive and stuff like that. But it still makes me angry that like I was the strongest I've ever been, and then to just like sweat my legs up underneath me.
Yeah.
So I don't care how long the road is now. It's just coming back.
Yeah, and it's tough to see it from this perspective, but you have absolutely no idea where you're going to be in 2 years, and it could end up being some kind of fork in the road for you that actually sends you in the right direction.
Her about, because she got really mad when I was got the port in my chest about to do chemo, and she about taking 10 years off my life because like I'm very impatient, so I just wanted to get this out of me right now.
Yeah.
And we were walking out of the hospital, and she said, she was giving me shit about getting chemo and blah blah blah. And I was like, I could cross the street right now and get hit by a car. And chemo don't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
So that's been a big thing. Now, like my outlook's changed a ton, since like 3 weeks ago. But coming back because it'd be very easy just to walk away and say fuck it, just go live a normal life. And
That's not your mentality though.
Yeah. Then what's the point of going through it all if you're not going to do the shit you love?
Right.
For sure.
Just as long as you'll get there. It's just gonna be slow.
I don't like slow.
I know you don't, but like, do you want to go through a hernia or anything like that?
It's like
you got to make those abs just bulletproof.
Yes.
You just got to go absolutely nuts on them when it's time to train them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get that. Heidi throwing the punts out.
We Saturday going back and forth, doing the sauna like we were talking about earlier. I might have ripped my sack open because I was able to, go out and drive a car Friday.
Yeah.
That Friday night, we drove up to the power station, did the sauna. Then the next day, and I just ripped open.
I woke up. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and I noticed he wasn't next to me. I'm like, oh my god, I knew something was not right because he always, comes.
Yeah, Saturday night, the night before.
So I'm thinking, oh my god, like freaking out. And I go through the house. I knew it wasn't there, and I check my phone. He's at the emergency room because he just won't. He won't stop bleeding. So gets glued, like they glue it back together, or whatever, and then he comes.
I'm tingling right now just thinking about it.
Comes back, go to sleep, whatever, and then like he drops me off at my meet.
Yeah.
Like his friends help me do all my warm ups, and then he comes back to watch my very first squat.
Yeah.
So got stitched up, and then came right back.
The night before the meet, I didn't want her to get up and worry about me.
Yeah, right.
So like I snuck out of the house. And Sarah texted us like, "Don't freak out. My sack's like bleeding everywhere." So I wanted to get like glued. So I got back at like, it was like 1 a.m, whatever it was. We wound up getting up at like 5:30 or something like that. It was bleeding again. I'm like, oh my God. So we got our stuff ready for me. I go drop her off. I notice I'm bleeding like down my leg now. And then I went to the hospital like maybe 5 minutes down the street from here. And I was like, I don't mean to rush you guys. I was like, my sack's bleeding, it's ripped open. But I was like, my girlfriend has a meet. I was like, I need to get this done like really quick. So they gave me 3 shots of lidocaine, which is the worst experience of my life.
God, fuck.
Like right in your ball or
yeah,
what?
like right in my sack. And like everybody's been numb at some point, the dentist or something.
Yeah.
So like they gave me 3 shots of that, 3 stitches. They made me walk around to make sure it didn't rip open again. Then I went back. I was like in the hospital like 25 minutes, and I was back.
Wow.
Just like right before her opener. And then I was like, just do whatever you gotta do. I was like, I'm about to be on my feet.
Yeah.
All day. I was like, just put as many stitches as you need in it. I was like, just to make
Super.
sure. Because it was like the thing like we were talking about. I was like, I'm not gonna miss this meet.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I'll go sit. But all this shit came up to her meet, and like she could have just said, fuck it, I'm not doing a meet.
It probably would have if you would have let her.
Yeah. Like she was like, I need to take care of you.
All his friends were just like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's at the hospital. I mean, like we've just been in and out of the hospital so
Nothing
much.
you can do.
Right. So I was just like, okay, and like my head was elsewhere, and then Matt Howar was just like, Heidi, let's go. Like, so he stepped in, helped me do all my openers or my warm ups, and then I was just sitting out there. Like I realized like I wasn't gonna have him that day, so I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? But then I have my teammates and Laura and Shane and everything. So, but was the shots and the balls worse than your epidural?
Yeah.
He had an epidural too.
Yeah, I know epidurals are horrible, but just thinking about the shot in the balls is the worst thing I could think of. I had one time in between my big toe and my little toe. I dropped we were in football, and they're like, oh, you can't wear your cleats in the weight room, so you gotta be barefoot. And I was pulling this 45-pound plate off the bar, and it slipped out of my hands and crushed my toe. And I went to the hospital, and the doctor said, okay, the Indian guy, you can say whatever you want, but don't move. And he puts the needle right into the cut in between my toes, and I was just pulling up on the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I can't even imagine that. I'd do that every day of the week before I got my balls.
100%.
I think he's had so many needles everywhere, so he's just like, you know what, do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
that's a lot of like having your junk out in front of strangers.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's gotta be.
Well, at this point, I don't even care anymore.
I knew something was wrong like the very first day, like in like February when we went to the emergency room. It's like this doctor was getting ready to leave for his shift, and the nurse comes and gets him, and she's like, you gotta see this, like something's wrong with this. So I mean, it was huge.
Is this when you had the fluid or originally?
Original.
Oh, so it was like swollen
up originally, and it was like hard as a rock. And then like after like being in the hospital so many times, like I don't even care anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, do you want somebody like when the fluid went down to my scrotum, the lady's like, I'll have this, the other guy come in, to so you don't feel uncomfortable. I'm like, ma'am, I do not care.
Give a fuck at this point, just
I
fix
do not
it.
care. Yeah.
That was scary. And all that fluid, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but hopefully you're on the mend.
Yeah, and hopefully people out there will hear this and, look at what you did, what you got through, and, their life isn't that bad. And even if it is, you can get through it.
Yeah. I mean, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody for sure. Because, like, that's not something you think about.
Sure, right.
And then, like, if I can help anybody, like, because, like I said, I was not ready for post-surgery. And my cousin actually contacted me, he had hernia surgery, and he has the same scar as me, and he told me all this stuff, and he's like, he's really raw like I am, he don't cut, he's like, you're gonna have the worst like 2-3 weeks of your life.
Yeah.
And it's very,
just because you probably don't think about how much you move
you don't
through that core,
you don't at all. And then like,
just shifted in your chair,
like I would, that's after sitting there being in the hospital, because I broke down twice, like to her, like being helpless, like I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like it'd be cool if, like, if anybody's going through that, like they could contact me, they could contact like her, like anybody, just because like I would, if I didn't have like my cousin that had the same surgery, I wouldn't have known. And just like being able to talk to somebody that's been through it, the what is it, the Testicular Cancer Society contacted me last night, and he had the same surgery, and he was asking all these questions like, man, you went through the same stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, and he said something last night that was kind of weird to me, that he's like, you have a ton of friends that can talk to you, but you still feel isolated, like you're the only person that's been through this.
Yep.
And I was like, that hit me like so hard last night. I'm like, God, like that is exactly like how I felt. I'm like, I'm a lot better now, like being up and being able to talk to people. But when he said that when I was in the hospital, I was like, man, I'm the only person going through this right now, and you're not.
Yeah.
It's still crazy. Like I'm, hopefully, 6 months from now, I'm in the same state, where like I'm still, grateful for life and grateful for all the friends and people that came out.
Yeah, I can't imagine that that's going to change. It's going to be a life-changing experience for you.
Right. He always says, like, when he said this the other day, it, like, made sense. He's like, it's the best and the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And, like, when people are just like, losing his testicle, or, this is going to be so emotional. Like, you think you're going to be ready for this, but you're not.
Yeah.
Like, this is a long road. But I think, like, he is such a positive person. Like, that's one thing that I've always loved about him. Like, he can turn... you can always just get over it,
Yeah.
He always puts me in check. He's the first one to call me out. Like, he's so good about putting things in perspective. And I think, like, even when the nurses, like, they're just saying how funny he is and how positive, I think, like, that helps him get through.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that'll help you, know.
It's just, like, you can either feel sorry for yourself and just, like, why me? Or you can just be like, fuck it. Let's go forward.
Yeah. You're an athlete. You're used to working and struggling.
Yeah, she I want to bring this up because it's funny. She like threw a little temper tantrum after missing her bench.
I feel so stupid about it.
Yeah,
because she got 395 at Rita's meet, and she got 3, just like her opener, and she threw her belt and all that stuff. I'm like, why are you acting like a child?
Yeah.
Like, you just squatted the world record. You beat it by 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Or 20 pounds, the world record squat, and you're throwing your belt.
I'm just so mad because I'm thinking, oh my God, I fucking broke my arm. Like, I was just so pissed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I was just so mad at myself because, like, I benched 405 to a freaking half board. Easy.
It was a piece of foam.
It was it was so easy,
good.
and then, like, I can't even bench 365 right now. I mean, barely. It was just, like, such a moment. Like, and then I, like, you do it, and then you gather yourself, and you're like, wait a minute, like. Well, first off, I thought I had lost at that point. So I'm like, that set me back 30 pounds. So I'm up 20 pounds on my squat, but I'm down 30 pounds on my bench. So I'm just like, I just fucked up, And then I was thinking, oh my God, like, my arm hurts so bad, like, I can't move it. How am I going to grip my deadlift? So it was just like, yeah. But I collected myself. I was fine. Just like, it was just such a moment where I was just like, so pissed.
So I told her, like, that's when, like, after the bench, everybody started not like panicking, but like, okay, keep track of this person, because there was 2-3 people that were all like...
Yeah, this was not a joke meet. I mean, there were some girls there that were just insane.
So I was just like, oh God,
It was Rita, and who was that other, the 105?
Stacy. I don't know.
I talked to one from Hawaii,
I am legend.
Yeah.
So they started, like, keep track of all these numbers, blah, blah, because, like, everything rolled right on this bench.
And that freaked me out even more, because I'm like, oh shit.
And she's like, I was like, if you break the total record, nobody's touching your score, whatever the hell it was. I was like, you have to pull 535. I was like, don't worry about anything else. I was like, you have to pull 535. You're going to break your own total record, and you're going to win this meet. Nobody can touch it.
Not a bad deal.
Well, and that's when he's like, you can either pull, because my second deadlift was like kind of slow. I was like, there's no way I'll pull 535. Never even attempted it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, and then they're like, you have to pull this. Like, you have to. So I was just like, and then he's like, you can leave with one record or you can leave with 3.
Yeah.
And I left with 3.
It's an awesome that deadlift's the last event too, because it's
that
so much
is like, I think my favorite lift.
I know that's not a deadlifter. He
I saw your deadlift. No.
My deadlift. My deadlift's fine if freaking Janine isn't in the same gym with me talking about my deadlift. I only post deadlift videos and stuff. Deadlifts and Atlas stones. It's the only thing I do decent,
Atlas those stones humbled me big time. Doing those.
Those are brutal, especially if you're a bencher. You got a little bit shorter arms.
We have. You don't train here anymore. Do you know who Todd Seipel is?
I think it sounds familiar, but I don't.
He's I guess is a lightweight because he's around 242, 220 his entire like strongman career.
Yeah.
But he has like one of this viral video of him loading a stone. He fell back and it fell on his knees.
Oh. Yeah.
He said one of his kneecap shot into his groin, the other one shot into his hip.
Holy shit!
I'll show you the video after you.
No, I can't watch that shit. I'll never lift one again.
Oh my God.
I flip through those. They come up on Facebook or something. I got to get rid of them real quick.
Yeah.
I forget which stone. I'm probably gonna get this wrong. I think it was like a 365. He had to load that one, another one, and he got his pro card because I guess they only give out one or two a year, whatever it was back then. And he had like I guess tore his hamstring before that, but he was on a mission, like he was trying to get these two stones, and that wound up happening. But we went to his house, same thing. He's got this little shed at the time. Me and my friend went there. He has this little shed behind his house, and it's stones. That's all it is. And that I was sore for like 3 weeks after that. I didn't like strongmen. There's powerlifting who are bar strong. There's exceptional, few that are like brute strength, but like strongmen, like have them carry the yoke and the stone loading. That destroys your entire. Like my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my toes hurt. Like
we do a lot of Atlas stone lifting because it hits everything.
I know,
it
like
wrecks
the
you.
gyms in Finland, they do a lot of that.
Oh yeah,
a lot of powerlifters.
Yeah, those guys are
crazy.
Yeah, any of those Nordic guys over there are just amazing.
Yeah, he like open-minded like strongman because I always thought strongman like we're just like really like strong powerlifters and it's not like
it's just different.
Yeah, you're like strongmen are strong all over.
Yeah,
for sure. It's insane to me that people can do that every week.
Yeah, the ones that are really good, and you look at like, and when I say really good, I'm talking like Thor and Brian Shaw and those guys that I'm a firm believer that they've got some kind of different DNA. I mean, there's just something different.
Isn't he like freaking huge?
Thor's like 6'9", he's 400 pounds with shredded abs. I mean, it's crazy.
It's not even human.
Yeah.
I used to work for a supplement company. I met Brian Shaw at a isolatory event. And he came and he had to duck through the doors.
Right, yeah.
And all I wanted to know, because I was like 252 at the time or something like that, the heaviest I was ever at that point. I was like, how do you sleep?
Yeah,
I was like, because he's like, I'm 440 right now. Like, what are you talking about?
440.
Well, what's his?
Jesus.
I can't remember. Shit, this is gonna kill me. Jenkins, Mike Jenkins, who died.
Yeah.
Like 2009, he was a 380, 370 pound guy and died from sleep apnea, I believe.
That's what he said.
Drowned himself.
He's like, I had this, travel with a CPAP.
I got one in the car right now.
He's
I'm 240.
Custom made bed because he's a giant human being. I didn't realize how big.
Like, what car does he drive?
Yeah.
A Prius.
Yeah, he's not getting a rental like I did today. That's for sure.
I didn't realize how big strongmen were until I seen Bill Kazmaier walk by me at the Arnold. I was like, what? And then like I met Eddie Hall and he shook my hand and he grabbed me like at the forearm.
Yeah. Those guys, Bill Kazmaier, like I just interviewed Magnus from Magnuson for the podcast a couple weeks ago. He's a little bit bigger than me, but I mean compared to now, the guys now, he's the evolution of athletes that are just
crazy.
Who's the bodybuilder looking one? I'm drawing a blank right now. Kujanowski.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't that tall, right?
No, I don't think so. I think he was like 6'1", 6'2". He wasn't very big.
Yeah, he was like so dominant. Then like the tall guys came.
Yeah.
And it was like game over. Like Sabicus and stuff like that. Like I got to meet him. It's like those guys are so.
You can generate so much more power when you're 400 pounds and 6'9", so you got those long limbs.
Yeah. I don't understand how. Like you didn't come out like that.
No.
I don't understand how you get that big.
Didn't Amy give Strongman a try? Weisberger.
Yeah?
You'll have to bring that up in her.
I will.
Louis
I'm getting her on the show next. She tried it recently?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, Louis was pissed now. I was like, what?
No. We were just having lunch with Louis one time and he brought it up and he was like still pissed about it and it was like 20 years ago. He's like, she could have been so much better as a powerlifter. She would have screwed up her body power, strong.
Yeah, I guess she got injured.
I can see Louis holding a grudge for that line over something like that.
He's like talking to like a historical textbook.
Yeah.
Like, his numbers and like just like in a t-shirt. He's big, like you hear him say that like in 550 in a t-shirt. he knows like everybody's numbers for the last like 40 years.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
what wrist straps they wore, or if they didn't wear wrist straps, like he just pulls numbers. Like
That's a guy who's been focused
insane.
on one thing his whole life, and
Yes.
he's, the best there is at it. But sometimes it takes that kind of focus to get to that level, where you have a one-track mind, and that's all you're going to think about is powerlifting for your entire life.
Yeah, like you get, like obviously like for her, and like you're on powerlifting all the time, like you think, oh, it's my life, like that's his. That is it, and he knows every single thing about it, and it's insane.
Yeah.
But it was just funny that, you brought up strongman, because he's still mad about it, however many years later.
20 years.
And I think she knows it too, because like I think it's her hip or something that's messed up from strongman, or whatever it is.
What were you doing?
No, not me.
Oh, Amy was.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Heidi did something. Yeah, well, just like we talked about, when you get those super heavy weights, you make one wrong move, and
especially if you're holding weight in your hands on your back.
I've torn both biceps lifting light Atlas stones. You're not even thinking about it. Nope, there it goes. So
I think like, the human body, I don't understand. I tore my hamstring, in half with 315.
Yeah, right. Why?
We were doing reps in here and it just blew off.
Yeah, I think my first bicep went with like 160-pound stone, which is nothing. Yeah.
When it goes, it goes.
Yeah. Well, I think we should wrap this up. I got to drive all the way down to Kentucky now, so I want to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for telling your story, and
thanks for having us.
Yeah, we'll do it again sometime. Where's Janine?
Working.
All right.
Doing cop stuff.
Cop things.
The law.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on, and this has been The Refined Savage. See ya.